Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Ravens beat the Bengals 27-24 yesterday. Hell of a win. I went live after the game to give my post-game thoughts. Shout out to everyone who joined the live. I appreciate you more than you know. If you haven't checked that out, just go check out the live stream. But today I just want to talk about a few points from the game that I didn't get to really hone in specifically in detail yesterday. And we also got some news on Odell, so we'll touch into that. Let's actually start with the Odell news first. Ian Rappaport reported that he should be fine. He shouldn't miss any time. And Harbaugh did say after the game that it wasn't a serious injury. Same with Odafe Oweh. Still have no update on Odafe Oweh. Harbaugh hits the press conference soon in a few hours, so probably get an update then. But Odell should be fine. It was just precautionary to sit him out of that game. And I'm cool with sitting him for a half if that's what it takes to preserve him and keep him strong throughout the season, especially for the postseason. We're going to need Odell. Odell's going to make a lot of big plays for this team. But I don't want to sacrifice the future, the playoffs, the Super Bowl run with Odell for a couple games right now, you know? So whatever it takes to preserve him for the long run, let's do that. And if his ankle injury flared up, he popped up on the injury report in week 1 for the ankle injury. So there is an ankle injury. And we didn't play much into it. He came right back to practice the next day. So we were like, all right, he's good. He tweaked it a little bit in the Cincinnati game, and they sat him down for the second half. I figured it was minor because I saw him get hurt on that route. He kind of pulled up, and I was like, okay, that didn't look great. But he stayed in the game the whole first half. So I thought it might be all right, but then when he didn't come back out for the second half, I was like, okay, that makes sense. He definitely tweaked it, and they're just going to play it safe, and that seems to be what it is. So happy to hear that. That's really positive news. We really can't afford any more injuries, and it doesn't seem like we suffered any injuries. And just to stay on the injury point for another second, so many guys are about to come back. We got Marlon Humphrey coming back maybe this week against the Colts. If not this week, I definitely expect him by week 4. They didn't put him on IR for a reason. They expected him back in these first 4 weeks, and I would not be shocked if Marlon Humphrey returns this week or especially next week. So we got Marlon Humphrey coming back to a secondary that really showed up without him. You know, we were very concerned. I say we as all Ravens fans and all analysts and media and everybody, right? Everyone was picking the Bengals. Everyone was concerned about how beat up the Ravens secondary was, how beat up the Ravens offensive line was, and you didn't even notice it. Guys stepped in so well that it looked like we had our starters out there and were at peak Ravens. Like it was very impressive. The offensive line stepped in, and those are 2 more guys that are returning. Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum are not out long term. I would still bet that they don't come back this week, but now I'm way less worried. And I was worried too. I don't want to sit here and just put it on everybody else. Like, I was concerned about the offensive line. I was concerned about the secondary against the Bengals receivers. But now I'm less concerned. I think that a ton of credit needs to go to Mike Macdonald and Todd Monken and John Harbaugh for getting these guys ready. That scheme, the game plan was executed well by the players, but that game plan was installed by these coaches, and it was smart. It was a smart game plan I love the offensive play calling. It was well balanced. We still ran the ball a ton, 170 plus yards on the ground. Defense just really stepped up, man, and it gives me so much confidence moving forward knowing that all these dudes are coming back. And Marcus Williams, potentially. We still have no update on what's going on with Marcus Williams, but as far as we know, it's not season ending. So we'll have Marcus Williams at some point. But Geno Stone stepped in and dominated. Geno Stone led our team in PFF grades with a 91.1. And I don't love PFF. I definitely don't read too much into it. But it just shows overall that Geno had an incredible game, right? I mean, you lead the team in PFF scores. If PFF is grading you as the best player on the field for the Ravens, and a 91.1 grade is extremely high. And then also that red zone interception. I know everyone was saying that he should have took it to the house. I said that in the live stream yesterday as well. I was like, dude, why didn't he cut back? We did get some more views. So he would have had some traffic to cut back into, but he had some blockers. You know, there was teammates out there ready to block. I felt like he should have cut back. But was it a guaranteed pick six like everyone's saying? Probably not. I don't think it was a guaranteed pick six. So I see what he saw now. He's running and sees like 3 Bengals, and it's just like, okay, I probably can't get there. But with the blockers that he had, I felt like it was definitely worth a shot. You could have cut back on Burrow, and then you had 2-3 blockers in front of you that could have blocked the 3 Bengals that were there. So there was still a solid chance you could have returned it. And anytime there's a chance, I feel like you should go for it. And Geno knows that. He said that this morning on Twitter as well. So it's just fun, whatever. Hell of a pick, hell of a win. He stepped right into Marcus Williams' spot, literally. We were saying that Geno's solid and can play his assignment well, but he's definitely not like a ball-hawking safety like Marcus is. And then, boom, look what happens. Geno makes the play of the day, the turnover of the game. The Bengals are going to score at least 3 right there, and they left with nothing. And that's just huge, man. I have the utmost confidence in Geno Stone and just the secondary as a whole, especially adding Marlon Humphrey back. I'm very high on this secondary. Rocky Ya-Sin, hell of a game. Insanely good pass breakup to Chase in the end zone just to knock that thing out. That's huge. Those things just saving touchdowns, man. And that receiving core is so talented for that secondary, for Ronald Darby and Darius Washington and Rocky Ya-Sin and Jalen Armour-Davis was active. I didn't see a ton of him, but just those guys, Brandon Stevens, those guys to step in, to press, to put themselves out there against this talented group of receivers. I know T. Higgins kind of went off, but it was later in the game. The secondary held it down. They did enough. They didn't allow big plays. And maybe some of that's on the Bengals refusing to throw down the field. I'm not sure, but regardless, this secondary played their role and played above and beyond expectations. And I just want to give them all the credit in the world. Give Mike McDonald all the credit in the world. I saw some people being hard on the pass rush. Jadeveon Clowney had a hell of a game. Oweh obviously went out. But Joe Burrow gets the ball out of his hands pretty fast. They were throwing to Joe Mixon really quick. Had Chase on a few screens. T. Higgins like 10 yards over the middle. They were getting the ball out fast. They didn't even throw downfield past 15 yards really. So they're not looking downfield. Therefore, it doesn't take as long. Joe Burrow doesn't need as much time. So I think the lack of pass rush is because he's getting the ball out fast. And it's kind of unfair to say that we had no pass rush. If you really watch the game, he's getting the ball out quick, and he always has done that. But I loved Clowney. I thought he was screaming off the edge. He did have a sack as well. And just his defense as a whole just really stepped up. And we were going into the game so concerned with all these injuries, and now I feel like we're leaving with so much confidence because not only did the depth guys step in and flawlessly execute their jobs, we're also getting all these starters back. And yes, the J.K. Dobbins situation sucks. I would love nothing more than J.K. Dobbins to be out there balling with this team. I feel like he does bring another element to the run game. But Gus Edwards, Justice Hill looked incredible yesterday. We're getting Keaton Mitchell back in week 5. We still have Melvin Gordon. Didn't see much of him at all, but he's also there. There's also the ability to get running backs. I feel like our run game is not going to suffer. We've consistently been able to run the ball. I said that in the pregame show. We're a running team. But now we have so many options to pass as well. And that makes you damn near unstoppable. I don't know how you completely shut everything down. You know what I mean? We're always going to have an option to go to. And then while we're throwing, and even if you covered everyone downfield, now Lamar's taken off. And we saw that yesterday. I thought Lamar made incredible decisions pretty much throughout the game outside of that fumble. Just going through his progressions, reading the field, and then having the awareness to take off as well and do that freestyle scramble if there's not a great option downfield. But going through his progressions first and then taking what the defense gives him, and that's just how you play winning football. And Lamar continues to play winning football. I'm not shocked. Everyone else can be shocked, but look at Lamar's record. This dude wins games. Lamar Jackson's a winner. He's always been a winner, and it's going to continue to be that way as long as he's on the field, as long as this team's healthy for the most part. I believe in these depth guys, though. I believe in this coaching. I believe in the direction that we're headed. We're only getting better. Week after week, this offense is going to improve, and especially when we start getting guys back. And this defense is also going to improve because we're adding back Marlon Humphrey, who may be our best player. So there's so much reason to be optimistic moving forward. I feel like we're headed in the right direction. We did not lose Odell. He's supposed to be back this week. Even if he's not, it's not the end of the world. But regardless, Odell's not missing any extended length of time. So this receiving core is still intact. All these weapons are still intact. We got Mark back. Mark looked great. And I love what I saw yesterday. I love where this team's headed. I'm as high as I've ever been on this team. There was a lot of excitement and confidence in the offseason, and then I felt like week one, after the Texans with all these injuries, it was kind of a setback. We were like, man, here we go again. The offense wasn't quite gelling, but man, the guys stepped in and replaced the injured guys way more than I even expected, better than I expected. I was shocked myself, and I've always been pretty optimistic about the Ravens and our situation. Sometimes it's a little bias creeping in for sure. I'm a fan. It's hard to ignore that. It's hard to be pessimistic. I don't like looking at situations with a pessimistic view or with a negative view. I don't like looking at anything in life that way. But yeah, feeling good. Great win yesterday. Great day for Baltimore, man. The O's are in the playoffs, clinched the playoff spot, still leading the division and the entire AL. And it's just a great day. It's a great day to be a Ravens fan, an Orioles fan. And we're 2-0, 2-game lead over the Bengals, who I still consider probably our biggest division threat. We'll see how Cleveland looks tonight against Pittsburgh, but I'm more worried about the Bengals probably. We'll see how Joe Burrow's calf situation plays out. If he does have to miss time, they could really fall back, or if they just can't get going. If he doesn't look good all year, then this might be the year that the Bengals don't even make the playoffs. But regardless, this division's ours, man. This division is the Ravens. The North's running through Baltimore. And if we can keep this train rolling, the AFC might run through Baltimore. And home games at the bank in the playoffs, it's going to be tough for teams to win. The stars seem to be aligning. And I know it's early, and obviously injuries could still play a huge role throughout this season. But we have everything in place to bring another Super Bowl, the third Super Bowl, back to Baltimore. And I'm very confident that this team has what it takes. This coaching staff has what it takes to win a Super Bowl this season. Especially the AFC feels wide open now. Just a few weeks ago, I was like, man, the AFC is so stacked. And now I feel like Baltimore has just as good, if not better of a chance than anybody in the entire AFC to be like the 1 seed. I feel like we can be dominant this year. And yeah, I'm excited. There's so much reason to be excited. I appreciate you guys tuning into another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.